Welcome to Effective People, your HR transformation partner.
Welcome to SAP Success Factors Compensation and Variable Pay Second Half 2024 Release Briefing. My name is Vivian Reinecke and I will be today's presenter. I've been with Effective People close to 7 years. I'm a professionally certified compensation, variable pay, and employee central consultant. I'm also certified in learning management. I've been working with Success Factors since 2015. I have done over 26 compensation implementations and around 14 variable pay implementations. In today's session, we will cover the following: most important topics. This will be followed by other release features, then a deep dive topic, and lastly, the product roadmap. Most important topics: enhancements to AI-assisted writing and availability in more areas. AI-assisted writing now includes content translation and text analyzer features. For purposes of this presentation, we will only focus on what is relevant to compensation, variable pay, and rewards and recognition. AI-assisted writing is currently only available on the web version of SuccessFactors applications. Mobile support is not yet available. The following new AI actions have been added. Translate. For written text, the user can select this option to choose the target language they would like it translated into. The following capabilities are supported with this action. Translation from US English to all 46 languages supported in SuccessFactors. Full translation between the following languages: US English, German, French, Spanish, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, and Japanese. Analyze text. With this option, a safety scan is performed on each text box, prompt entry, or generative AI output in order to detect bias and remove discriminatory or violent language. Users can choose to accept or reject the suggested text presented for replacement. Text Analyzer scans for the following safety attributes. Inclusiveness checks for the following biases: age, cultural, gender, mental health, racial, religious, sexual orientation, socioeconomic, or physical ability. Harmful content, insulting and offensive language, firearms and weapons, hate speech, slang and overly informal language, self-harm, sexual content, toxic and exclusionary speech, violent speech, and war. The following product areas within compensation support AI-assisted writing as of the second half 2024 release. Rewards and recognitions. Improve messages from award nominators to award recipients and approvers. Improve descriptions of programs, levels, and categories that the administrator provides. Compensation and variable pay. Improve the content of notes and forced comments for the compensation planner in your compensation, variable pay, and total compensation worksheets and executive review. Improve the content of fields in the column designer for the administrator when designing compensation, variable pay, and total compensation templates. With these enhancements, customers can access content in their native language, reinforce inclusive language, and further enhance the quality of their communication. Enable the approver of a reward and recognition award to change the award amount. When this feature is enabled, an approver can change the amount of the award during the workflow approval process. Organizations want to encourage timely peer-to-peer recognition for outstanding company contributions or participation in special projects. Awards given are subject to budget, eligibility, guidelines, and an approval process. Although guidelines and suggested award amounts can be configured for award programs, the approver will now have the option to edit award amounts before approving. This enhancement is from a customer influence idea. This feature was released in the first half 2024, but was pulled back due to a known issue. To enable this feature, please contact product support. How the workflow changes will depend on the selection that the administrator makes. Option 1. Edit without route change. With this selection, the approver can change the amount of the award and approve. It then goes to the next step in the approval route. If there is no next approval step for the workflow, the award is approved. Option 2, edit with route change. With this selection, if the approver changes the amount of the award, the approval route is changed. When the approver updates the award amount, the request is reinitiated for approval through all of the workflow approvers, even those who previously approved the request and now must approve the change to the amount. When the approver opens the workflow details for the award approval request, they can choose the Update button. Choosing this button makes the award amount field editable. The approver can now change the amount and then choose to approve. When Edit with Route Change is enabled, an approver changes the award amount. An additional dialog box is shown to allow them to provide comments about the change. The approver can also expand to see the workflow participants. When the approver chooses Submit, the request is returned to all of the people in the workflow, even those who had previously approved the award. They must now approve the amount changes. If Edit without route change is enabled, this dialog box is not shown. Without a route change, the approval workflow either goes to the next step approver or is approved when there is no other steps in the approval workflow. Refresh employee history by employee. You can now import employee user IDs and refresh employee history by bringing data from Employee Central for the employees when doing variable pay planning. You can upload up to 100 employee user IDs at a time. When uploaded, employee history for these employee IDs is refreshed. Employee history records modified since the last run of the employee history refresh job are not eligible for refresh as part of this job since the data will be part of the next regular job run. So, any data of an employee that was missed in the last run can be refreshed using this option. The import-only changes record is disabled if no employee history has been imported into the system. This enhancement provides you with other options to refresh data for your employees when planning for variable pay. In the current version, you can run partial import for records by employee name or by modified date. You have two options for refreshing data. You can directly enter the employee's name into the text field, or you can use the upload file link to upload multiple employee names. In the previous version, you only had the option to run partial import on records changed since the last process was run. Other release features. REST API for compensation data read. You can now use REST APIs to extract data from compensation and variable pay modules. This API replaces the SF API used to read compensation and variable pay data. In the previous version, you had to build integration calling SF APIs to extract employees' compensation and variable pay data. Publish to metadata framework or MDFs from compensation fields of the total compensation template. You can now map and publish compensation field data to MDF objects in your total compensation templates. There is currently a restriction where only compensation fields and not variable pay fields can be published to MDF objects. This enhancement brings parity and consistency to compensation data publish capabilities in compensation and total compensation templates. The settings in the screenshot below is now available for both compensation and total compensation templates. In the previous version, you could only publish compensation data to MDFs in your compensation templates. License Usage Report for Compensation module. You can now access the License Usage Report from Admin Center to track how many users are using the SuccessFactors compensation module. This includes compensation, variable pay, and rewards and recognition. The downloaded report is a CSV file with columns indicating the number of users for each of the compensation modules. If no users access the module, or if you don't own a module, the column in the file for that module shows as 0. Using the report, you can analyze license usage for the modules that you have and ensure that the usage does not exceed the number of licenses you own. Open budget or instruction panel by default. We have introduced a new display setting where you can now configure your compensation template to open the budget or instruction tab by default on compensation worksheets and an executive review. Your choices for this setting is None, Budget, and Instruction. None is the default setting if no option is chosen. When the planner opened the compensation worksheets or executive review for the first time, they see the selected panel open. This change gives you control over what the compensation planners see when they are working on compensation worksheets or in executive review. Enhancement to the Apply Eligibility Rules job. We have enhanced the Apply Eligibility job to optimize the system resources utilized when the job is run. This enhancement allows you to opt out of the performance optimization. Export selected columns in Executive Review and Hierarchy-Based Approvals, or HBAs. You can now select data fields to export on the Salary tab for compensation and total compensation templates from Executive Review and Hierarchy-Based Approvals. This enhancement allows you to control data exported from the Salary tab. The Export Selected Columns option is only available on the Salary tab in Compensation and Total Compensation templates. It is not available for variable pay templates or for the bonus, stock, and variable pay tabs within the compensation or total compensation templates. In the current version, you can select the Export Selected Columns option to export a subset of the data selected from the Columns option under the Salary tab. In the previous version, all data from the Salary tab of a compensation or total compensation template was exported from Executive Review and HBA regardless of the selections for the columns. Improvement when displaying currency. We now have a separation between the currency code and the number when displaying money fields in the compensation module. This change is visible when you have set up your template to show currency code for your money fields. This enhancement is from a customer influence idea. In the current version, you see a space between the currency code and the money amount. In the previous version, there was no separation between the currency code and the money amount. Enhancements to the latest My Forms page. The latest My Forms page was introduced in the first half 2024 release. In the second half 2024 release, we improved filter and search capabilities as well as making the user experience better. These additional enhancements are: you can now configure filters based on roles using role-based permissions. You only see the templates with existing worksheets in the Template Search drop-down menu in the selected folder. You see the My Direct Reports, My Matrix Reports, My HR Report filter options in all or reports only when relevant to your role. You can now reset your filters. You see the total number of forms. The mass root document forward and the mass root document backward role-based permissions are respected. This enhancement is from a customer community idea. Store compensation data in Employee Central. We have improved the store compensation data in Employee Central job so that larger jobs are split into 5 sub-jobs. The enhancement was done to optimize the system resources utilized when the job is run. Optimization of the job makes it more efficient and results in improved performance. As an administrator, you have the option to opt out of this feature by going to Actions for All Plans, Company Settings, Manage Company Settings. Executive Review based on Route Map step. You can now set up Executive Review permissions for data based on permission roles and steps within the route map. As an administrator, you can configure permissions for roles to view or edit data in Executive Review based on the route map step. If no permission is set, current behavior for those fields based on role-based permissions for Executive Review are maintained. Once enabled, you see a grid with the permission role in the first column and the route steps in the header row. You have 4 permission options: no selection, read only, edit, no permission. In the current version, with the route map-based permissions enabled, the Employees I Can Edit option displays all employees you have permission to read or edit data for. In the previous version, only editable records were available. Employees I Can View only displays those you have permission to read data for. This enhancement is from a customer influence idea. Localizations of conditions for fields and sections in the statement editor. You can now set up conditions for fields and text and field sections based on locale when editing a compensation statement template. A new message appears when working with conditions in fields and sections. You can access the locales impacted by the conditions and act as needed. Conditions set in default locales are propagated to all locales. You can override default conditions and set conditions on fields and text and field sections in other locales, which are then restricted to that locale. You can now set conditions on fields and sections in the desired locales independent of other locales. In the current version, in addition to setting conditions in the default locale and propagating to all locales, you're also able to set distinct condition on fields and sections in desired locales. In the screenshot, you see the promotion field with localized conditions. In the previous version, when you set conditions on a field or a section in any locale, the conditions were applied to the fields or text sections in all locales. You couldn't localize the conditions. Milestone Award Job now in Scheduled Job Manager. You can now configure and run the job to identify eligible users from the Scheduled Job Manager. You can also configure the job to identify eligible users based on a selected date. This can be a one-time or a recurring job. In the previous version, the job to identify and award milestone awards was only configurable from provisioning. You were also not able to run the job on a specific date. AI-assisted writing for message to recipient of a Spot Award. You can now use AI-assisted writing to generate the message for award recipients. You can also enhance the message when giving a Spot Award. The AI-assisted writing features for award recipient message makes writing a message to the Spot Award recipient easier, faster, and more relevant. Calculate bonus to not run concurrently with update variable pay. We now prevent you from running two jobs which are triggered when using the Update All worksheets or Calculate Bonus at the same time. You also cannot run the Calculate Bonus job at the same time as the eligibility job for a template. These jobs update the same data, and running them concurrently can result in data inconsistencies and other issues in the system. This enhancement prevents an occasional data loss and inconsistencies which are reported when these jobs are kicked off concurrently. In the current version, if you attempt to update variable pay plans when there's a bonus calculation job already in progress, you receive an error message and are unable to do so. In the previous version, you were able to trigger the two jobs, one for bonus calculation and the other for update all worksheets concurrently. Rename the label for instructions from the user interface for variable pay. You are now able to customize and localize the label for instructions for variable pay plan templates from Admin Center. The process for adding instructions to variable pay plan templates has also changed. You include a message to the compensation planner, which they can access by using the instructions icon on the worksheet. This enhancement gives you the flexibility in defining the labels for the default instructions label, as well as setting up translations in other languages. This also makes adding instructions consistent with other compensation templates. In the current version, you can customize the label for instructions for your variable pay template from Compensation Home. Previously, you modified the label for instructions in the XML of the template from provisioning. Deprecation of spell check feature. The spell check feature reached end of maintenance on May 17, 2024. It will be deleted on May 16, 2025. For compensation, the spell check feature enables you to check spelling where you enter text. We are deprecating the spell check feature and the Manage Company Directory tool because most modern browsers have a built-in spell check function that you can use instead. Bonus payout card available in SAP SuccessFactors Workzone. We introduced a new homepage card named Bonus Payout to SAP SuccessFactors Workzone. After the new homepage card titled Bonus Payout has been activated, employees can receive revisions to their bonus plan throughout the compensation cycle in SuccessFactors Workzone. This new card enables employees to stay informed about bonus plan updates. Deep dive topic. Enhancements to the compensation statement editor. You are now able to export compensation statement templates in XML in addition to the existing XSL format. You also now have the ability to import the XML file and then edit in the statement editor. This enhancement gives you the ability to migrate your statement templates from one instance to another while continuing to edit in the instance you imported the template into. When you create a new statement template using the XML file, the template is treated like a template from the Success Store. You can edit the template in the statement editor. When the statement template is created using XSL file, the template is treated as a custom template and you can no longer edit it in the statement editor. The figure here shows the new options to import XML or XSL file to the statement editor. In the previous version, you could only import an XSL file, which wasn't then editable in the statement editor. Once XML is chosen, you see the screen to validate and import an XML file to the statement editor. When importing a combined statement, you see a section where the compensation templates used with the statement template are displayed in a column. This will include compensation variable pay or total compensation templates. The second column allows you to choose corresponding plans for the new statement template to be created. We have introduced multiple validations when you import the XML file to create a new statement template. Violations of these validations cause errors that prevent you from importing the template. These validations ensure that you don't have two statement templates with the same name, that the language of the template being imported is enabled in the instance that you are importing it into, that you only have the template modified in a statement editor being imported into the statement editor. No changes can be made to the XML file outside of the statement editor. In the screen print below, you see a template in the background named 2023 Comp Statement Spanish. In the foreground, you see an attempt to create another template with the same name. This results in an error. The screen to add a template from an import file using XSL remains the same as in the previous version. Product Roadmap. SAP maintains product-specific roadmap on SAP.com website, Roadmap Explorer. It requires S-user login credentials, the same as for the SuccessFactors customer community. You can create and save your own product mix, so you get a roadmap tailored to your solution landscape. The roadmap is updated on a regular basis.
Thank you for joining. We hope you found this video insightful and inspiring. If you're ready to take your workforce to the next level, visit our website for more valuable resources and solutions.